All right, so the user is going to type it in. It's going to store it in user input string, and we're going to again store it here. So it's basically the same thing, but we changed the message a little bit, and we are giving the user again the chance to type in the right number, so just like this. Okay, so the user is going to type in. We're going to give the user a first chance to type it here, and while it's less than 2, we're going to print an error message, give the user more details to even type in the right number, store it here, come back and check again, and as long as it's less than 2, the user is going to keep getting this. The user is going to keep getting this message, but if it's 2 and above, then it's going to exit out of this loop and keep going down. Okay, so that's the idea. So let's do the same thing for the other input validation. So do not accept a negative number for average daily population increase. Okay, so that's when we ask over here, please enter the average daily population increase. Do not accept a negative number. So we're going to ask the user to enter the daily population increase. We are going to accept it, and let's go ahead and test on it with a while loop, just like this, and say while the user percentage increase. Okay, user percentage increase is less than 0, because anything less than 0 is negative. Okay, so while it's less than 0, then let's do something similar to this. Okay, let's do something. Let's display an error message. Let's display an error message and say error, please enter only positive numbers. Or let's say please enter a positive number. And in the extra message over here, over here, let's change it. Please enter the average daily population increase as a percentage. So that's the question for this one. And in the extra information, we're going to say positive numbers. Let's say positive numbers. Don't worry, I'll fix this. Positive numbers. All right, so let me go ahead and break this line so that I can see it on the screen. So I'm going to close the string, concatenate it with another string that I just started. It's the same thing. I'm just breaking it on a new line, and I'm going to hit enter. And just so we keep everything organized. Okay, so we're going to print an error message. Please enter a positive number, right? And then we're going to ask the user again, give them a chance to enter it again, and say, please enter the average daily population, the population increase as a percentage. Let me just space this out here. As a percentage increase, positive numbers. We're giving them extra information. This one is just asking them straightforward. But if they get it wrong, we're giving them extra information. We're giving them an error message as well. And we're going to give them a chance to type it again here, like this. So now we'll give them a chance to type it again. We'll store it over here. We're going to check again, and as long as it doesn't meet the validation, it's less than 0, this is going to keep happening. But if it's a positive number, then it's going to exit out of this loop and keep going. So now we've fixed that too. All right. So the last one is, where is it? Do not accept a number less than 1 for the number of days they will multiply. So the number of days they will multiply is, we asked them over here. What did I just do? Did I just skip one? No, I didn't skip it. Right here. Please enter the number of days they will multiply. Okay, so it said do not accept a number less than 1 for the number of days they'll multiply. So that's right here. We asked them, please enter the number of days they'll multiply. We get the result here. So let's go ahead and check this and say, while while the number of days is less than 1, because it said we shouldn't accept anything less than 1 for number of days they'll multiply. So while the number of days is less than 1, okay, let's again print a message on the screen, okay, and say that error, okay, please enter a number one or above. Okay, enter a number 1 or above. Okay. Yeah, 1 or above. I think I did the same thing here. Is a number 2 and above. Same thing. 2 and above, 2 or above. 2 and above. I'll say 1 and above. Okay. So please enter number 1 and above, because it can be less than 1. And over here the message will be please enter the number of days to multiply. Please enter the number of days to multiply, and then the extra int will be greater than 1. Okay, greater than 1. That's the extra hint. We don't have to. I'm just trying to just make the program more, nice. All right, so greater than 1. That's what we are going to tell them as the extra hint. And user input string is going to take the information. We're going to go ahead and convert it to an integer like we did here. Give them a chance to type it. We take that input, we convert it to an integer, and then it's going to come back up again and check to see if number of days is less than 1. If it's less than 1, it's going to keep asking them, keep giving them a chance to type again. But if it's not less than 1 and it's 1 or above, then it's going to exit out of this loop and keep going down. And then it will do it'll get the calculation done. We'll run the calculation in the loop, print the statement in the loop, and that's it. When we're done. Okay, so we're done with the program. Let's test it out and see if it works. So let's compile it. And I'm going to create a folder. I'll call it population. And I'll save it here. And we don't have any errors. That's good. All right, so I'll run the program and let's see what happens. So please enter the starting number of organisms. Okay, so let's first try the input validation and see what happens. So I'm going to cancel this and close this so that we have more room. So I'm going to run it again. Oops. Okay. Please enter the starting number of organisms. It said do not accept a number less than 2 for the starting number for the starting size of the population, which is the starting number of organisms. Okay, so anything less than 2, do not accept it. I'm going to hit 1 and I'm going to hit OK, and it said error, please enter a number 2 and above. Okay, so please enter a starting number. Please enter the starting number of organisms 2 and above. Okay, it's like we're making sure we are typing the right thing. Okay, so I'm going to hit 2. And I'm going to hit another number less than 2. I'm going to hit 1 again and hit OK. And see, it's asking us the same thing. I'm going to type in -3, hit OK. See, it's asking us the same thing. 1, it says 2 and above. So I hit 2, hit OK. And now it's saying, please enter the average daily population increase as a percentage. Now, average daily population increase, it said, do not accept negative number for average daily population increase. So I'm going to type -1 and hit OK. It says, error, please enter a positive number. Please enter the average daily population increase as a percentage. Positive numbers. I'm going to hit -3, asking me the same thing. -1, asking me the same thing. But if I enter, let's say 4, hit OK. Now move on to the next one. Please enter the number of days to multiply. For that, it said that do not accept a negative number for average daily. Do not accept a number less than 1 for the number of days to multiply. Any number less than 1. So I'm going to hit 0 and hit OK. Now it says error. Please enter a number 1 and above. I'm going to hit -3. please enter a number 1 and above. So I'm going to hit 1 and hit OK. No, the 1 will make sense. Hit 5 and hit OK. And it says 1 and 2.0. It makes sense. 1 is the day, because one is the day, and 2. I didn't know formats this well, and I didn't actually add days. So for us to actually know, I think I hit 5 day. I don't even remember what I was typing. I was just typing random numbers. Let's. Okay. So I put out the print statement. I put the print statement in a loop. That's what's happening. So this is day 2. It's going to grow to 2.08. Day 3, 3. Okay. So this is what's happening, and I'll explain. We need to take care of this. I put the print statement in the loop, and that's what's happening. All right. So let's fix this. First of all, we want this print statement out. Okay. So like I said, in the for loop, first of all, we want to print the day 1, okay, and then the daily population. So because I'm going to use the option pane, I'm going to create a string. Okay, I'm going to create a string, and I'll format it at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to say this. I'm going to create another variable I'm going to call it string, and it's going to be a string. I'm going to call it output. Okay, output is going to be our final result, and it's going to be a string that we are going to concatenate results to. So the first thing I want to concatenate to output is going to be, okay, so concatenated equals, which is plus equals, okay, plus equals, or you can say output is equals to output plus. Okay, you can do this. Output is equal to output plus, and then you add the string you want to, but I'm just going to use plus equals. Oops, plus equals. Let's see. I'm tempted to use let's see, string.format. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a string. Okay, but let's format it at the same time so that we just display once after this loop. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to call the string.format because I want to format this, because I don't want all the decimals showing. And we are forming a string here. Okay, we are forming a string here, and after that we are going to store it in the variable output. Okay, so output is a string. We are going to form a string here, and then after that we'll store the result in the variable output. So the first thing we wanted to display, remember, it was the day. Okay, and then we created a tab right after that, which was a \t, and then another we concatenated it to the daily population. So day, a tab, and we concatenated it to the daily population. Initially, it's going to be what is the starting number of organisms. And remember, we want to format, actually, let's see, we want to format this. We want to format go ahead. We want to format, actually, no, this is a wrong way to actually do it. I want to format the daily population, right? I want to format the daily population. So this is a wrong way to actually do it. I'm going to go ahead and type in the string like this. Day I'm not going to let's see, day I'm not going to really format it. Let's see, should I? Day I'm not going to format. Let's see, day, okay, and I'm going to concatenate it to this string, a tab, okay, and I'm going to concatenate it to the daily population. But because I want to format the daily population, I'm going to, instead of concatenating, I'm going to put it in together with this string here. But because it's going to be a double, right? I mean a float. It's going to be a float. All right. Because it's going to be a float, I'm going to add it to this. Because it's going to be a float, and I want to format it, I'm going to add it in the string, okay, as a format specifier. And then whatever variable I put as the second argument of this string.format method is going to replace this format specifier and basically format the value, the arguments that I put after the comma, the way I specify the format. Okay, so it will make sense once I do it. So day, I don't want to format it because that's just going to be in numbers. It's going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I don't want to format it. I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'm concatenating it with a tab, and after the tab, we're going to have our daily population. But I want to format it as a float. Okay, daily population is already here. I want to format it as a float, so I'm going to type in %f. Okay, %f as a float right after the tab. So %f as a float, and I want to concatenate it to. Initially, I'm not going to round it to any number of decimal places. So let's do that. But what is going to replace this %f now is going to be the daily population. That's what is going to. That's what's going to do that. That's what's going to. That's what's going to format the daily population. All right, so initially I'm not going to format it to the number of decimal places. So it's going to basically join to this string. Okay, and after it's done displaying the day and the daily population, I want to break it to a new line. I want to create a new line after that. Okay, I want to create a new line. So I'm going to just say that. Okay, I'm going to just create a new line after %f, so that the next time something is being concatenated to output, it will start on the next line because we've created a line break after that. All right, so we can test it to see how it looks so far, but this output needs a header, like a header. It needs a header, so we'll fix that. But for now, let's just test it out to see how it's looking so far. So let's compile this, and we are not displaying output anywhere. So right after the for loop, let's go ahead and display outputs, and that's going to be JOption pane dot show message dialog. Now remember, message dialog takes in two arguments, null and what you are displaying. Now what you are displaying in this case is going to be outputs. I'm going to copy it and paste here because we formatted it nicely. Hopefully it looks nice. And then I'll compile this, and we have an error. Let's see. Variable output might not have been initialized. Okay, so output initially it's a string, right? But initially, let's set it to nothing. It's nothing. Let's set it to an empty, to nothing, and then we are concatenating to nothing. Basically, we are concatenating these results to nothing. So that's what it's basically saying. So I'm going to compile this, and it fixes it. So I'm going to run this. So let's just so we see how it looks like. I think using the JOption pane is what's basically causing us to do all this stuff. But if we use the scanner, I'm sure it would have been done by now, because the scanner is straightforward, and you don't have to worry about some of these things. So please enter a number of organisms. For this time, I'm going to enter the right numbers. I'm going to enter. It's going to start from 2. Please enter the average daily population increase. I'm going to say 50%. But over here, I'm just going to say 50. Please enter the number of days. I'm going to say 7 days and hit OK. Okay, so what's happening is this. Let's see. Let's see how it's being printed. So we are concatenating the day. Let me hit OK and see what's happening. Okay, so I think it's not doing the concatenation well. Let me run it one last time and see what's happening. So 2 set 8. I want to see what's happening here, but please bear with me. So it's, from what I'm seeing, it's only displaying the last one, and that's not what we want. I want this to be concatenated here. Let's see. Let me just try something to see if it makes a difference. I think, like I said, I think we're having these problems because of the G-option pane, and I didn't really test it out to see how it's going to look. But let's try to fix it. So let me go ahead and, instead of concatenating day to it like this, let me go ahead and because it's the format method, maybe it's not working well that way. So percentage D for an integer, and that's going to be for day. Let me just try that. So the first argument is going to be the day, and the second argument is going to be population. Let's try that. Okay, so 2, 50, and 8. Okay, so it's basically, it didn't make a difference. I'm just trying to figure out why it's giving us only the last one instead of displaying the whole output. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm sure some of you have seen this and are probably going like, oh, so he can't, he hasn't seen it yet. And yes, I haven't seen it yet. Sometimes you just skip issues like that. One more thing, if I was to fix this and it wasn't a problem, that would be funny too. All right, so remember we are we are concatenating the results of whatever is stored here to we are concatenating the results of, in this case, what this output will result in this loop. We are concatenating it to the output string, whatever is already joined to the output string. So because we are doing that, remember, so now all it's doing is it's just assigning the how this will look, the output of this, the result of this, the evaluation of this this formatting to output. That's all it's doing, and it makes sense because by the time it's based on how this is written, it's only going to concatenate. No, it's not even going to concatenate. It's because there's no plus sign here. Based on how this is written, it's only storing, it's only assigning the outputs of this, okay, the evaluation of this formatting to output. It's not joining to it, it's just assigning to it. So each time it's replacing it's replacing whatever I stored here with this. And the reason why, for example, the last one I typed in 8 days. So the reason why it said 8 and the reason it said 8 and let's say the daily population was because by the time the loop reached the last one, which is 8, all it did was just replace the value of whatever I stored here with the evaluation of this formatting. All right, so we have to concatenate it, not just assign. And I missed the plus sign. See, just one plus sign has messed up the whole thing. I missed the plus sign here. So I'm concatenating. Remember, I was actually even saying that you can write this as output is equals to output plus, and I said I was going to just delete this and say plus equals, and I think that's what happened. Instead of typing plus equals, I thought I typed plus equals, now I typed in equals, and I didn't see it. I was just looking elsewhere. I thought it was something from here. I didn't even see it. So we don't necessarily have to do this, although this works. I don't want it to get confused. I don't want you to get confused. So I'm going to take it back to how it was. So now we are concatenating. We are formatting. Sorry, we are actually creating a string here. Let me go ahead and delete this. We are creating a string here. We are creating the day, concatenating it to a tab and a placeholder here, a placeholder which is a format specifier for daily population. Okay, So the first argument, basically, the first argument here is going to replace the first format specifier, which is the percentage f. Okay, we are formatting this daily population as a float. Okay, and then so daily population will replace this percentage f as a float, and basically this is our string. But the only difference is that percentage f now will be daily population. So we'll have day concatenated to a tab concatenated to daily population, but formatted as a float. All right, let's try this and see what happens. So I'm going to type in the same values. We are starting off with 2. The percentage increase is 50%, and the number of days will be 5, and hit OK. And see, now now we're actually seeing it. That was the problem. I forgot the plus sign. I meant to do that, but sometimes it skips you. You're looking for it, but you just can't see it. You just haven't seen it yet. And yeah, like I said, I'm sure some of you saw it and went like, oh, no, he hasn't found it. And we're waiting for me to actually find it, so you move on. All right, so it needs some kind of header. And maybe you can say day and population increase or something. Maybe I can space this out some more. We can put some, let's say 2 or 3 tabs here. But let's see. So for this is the day column, and this is the population column. But remember, see, this is displaying as a double, because this evaluation sometimes results to a double, which is this evaluation here. When we are calculating the daily population, it results to a double sometimes. Actually, yeah. In this case, yeah, sometimes. Even if it's an integer, because one of them is a double, it's going to result in a double. Actually, daily population is a double, so even if it's an integer, it's going to display as a double, like this and this, like 2 and 3. Okay, so daily population is a double also, and that's why it's displaying as an integer, and also the fact that this results can be a double too. But we want to round it. We want to round it off to a certain number of decimal places. But because this is going to be the population, their population on day 5, if they're multiplying at a 50%, daily increase. Daily percentage increase rates, something like that. Yeah. So let's go ahead and format this. But because we use a format specifier, we can do that because we've already formatted this as a float, which is percentage f here. So all we have to do is just round it off to 0 decimal places. We can just round it to 0 decimal places and say this. In between the percentage and the f is where you type your precision. So in this case, if you wanted to round it off to 2 decimal places, we'll just say 0.2. In between the percentage and the f, it's going to be 2 decimal places. So let's just try that first to see how it looks for 2 decimal places. Now precision goes in between the percentage and the f, and it's 0.2 if it's 2 decimal places. So 2, 50, and 5. So now we've rounded it off to 2 decimal places, but because we want it to, as 0 decimal places, we just say 0.0. And oops, yeah, we just say 0.0, and that's going to fix that. So 2, 50, and 5. So now on day 1, remember they started off with 2. I typed in 2 for starting number of organisms. So day 1 there are 2, day 2 there will be 3, day 3 there will be 5, day 4 there will be 7, day 5 there will be 10. They are increasing at a 50% daily population increase rate, something like that. And this basically solves it. So I can even try one last one. Sorry for dragging this along, but we encountered errors and just wanted to explain more, or try to explain how we solved it, something like that. So number of organisms, I'm going to enter 7. Percentage increase, I'll say 60% or even 65%. Hit OK. Enter number of days, I'm going to enter 20. Okay, so now we're going to see a long list and hit OK. And so on day 1 there will be 7, day 2 12, day 3 19. They're increasing at a 60% rate. On day 20 they'll multiply to 94,906. and that's basically it. The only thing we need to do is just space this out a little bit. Create columns, so space this out a little bit by here, by creating more tabs if we want, just to make this look clear. And we can also go ahead and create a header. So let's do that. I was about to say that you can do it on your own, but let's do that because it's a good way to. I think we can learn stuff from it. So output has this. Remember, output initially has as an empty string. That means nothing's attached to it. So we can even go ahead over here when we declared it. We can go ahead and start the header, and then over here once it gets into the loop, it starts attaching the rest. So I'll do just that. Let's go ahead and say I'm going to say day, okay, and I'm going to put 3 tabs like we did for the other ones. So 3 tabs like we did for the other ones, and I'm going to say population, daily population like this. And then I'm going to create a new line, and then that's where this comes in. It's going to join to it, and that's done. We can even go ahead and add some underline this day. So I'm going to just do that, and then create another. Let's see, it's too much. And then create 3 more tabs, and underline the daily population, something like this. And you can even create another tab. Let's see, not another tab, another new line after underlining it. Yeah, actually we have to create a new line to move on to the next line so that we can start concatenating the rest. So let's look at let's see how this looks. That's the header I was talking about, and we've spaced it out with 3 tabs because over here we have 3 tabs as well. So I was about to say you should do it, you should do this, but like I said, this can be tricky, and that's why I did it. So I hit run, and I'm going to 255, and we're a bit off. We have to just space this out a little bit. Daily population is here. We have to space it out some more. So let me see, 1, 2, 3. Let me try sometimes with this you have to just keep trying and error. Sometimes you can really gauge it, but based on what I'm seeing now, let's see. I just need to put some more tabs in between this, and just delete this. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe just cut it by half. So this is only going to be 4. Cut this by half, roughly. Maybe add 1 more. Put some more tabs in between this. Later on, you can actually make this efficient and do other things. But for now, we just wanted to display reasonable. So 250 and 5. Well, I was kind of close, but all I need to do is just add more tabs in between. I think this is fine. The headers are fine. I just need to add more spaces in between here, and then that should be fine. So sorry about that. So yeah, this program works. Let me just go ahead because I'm tempted to. Again, you can play around with it. No, I'm going to go ahead and compile this. You can play around with it as you want, and you can design it in any way you want. You can even modify it and add it. Oops, I added a string in there. Let's see, that's here. Okay, so now this looks better. All right. So now by the time they reach on the day it gets to day 5, there'll be 10, and you can keep trying. It actually looks nice. The reason why I wanted to use the Egyptian pane is I think it looks nice when you use the Egyptian pane, and that's why. And we had to format it and do some concatenation here. I didn't actually test this program out to see how it's going to look, so that's why we did a trial and error. But this program works. Let me try one last time. I'm going to enter 60 organisms, 20%, and the days, let's say 27. Hit OK, And yeah, on day 1 they start from 60. By day 27 there'll be 6,869 organisms. So yeah, I know this program was long, but like I said, for me it was fun just to even go through it. And we encountered some we had to format it the way, format it here. We had to create a header here. We had to create format specifiers. If you if for example you understood it, if you understood it and you skip through it, and you wanted to skip through it, that's fine. But if you, for example, watched through all of it and liked it and learned a lot from it, I mean, not a lot. It doesn't have to be a lot, and learn something from it, then that's great. If it was too long, and like I said, anytime I make a video and it's too long, please feel free to skip through it. But if you skip through it, then that's fine. If for example you knew it and you didn't like it, or you skip through it, that's fine. That's okay. But if it helped you, you went through it, that's great too. Okay, so I think I'm talking too much. That's what it is. All right. If you have any questions, please comment down below in the comment section, and I'll do everything to respond to them. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time with the next program. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.